evening had fallen over Delhi for what remained of it that December of 1857. Pandurang was late. He would have to hurry. An hour-long Tonga ride in the dark this far from a Kotwali was asking for trouble. He foraged around in the old Haveli. Trust Janais Khan to build his house in the middle of Jahannam. He had all to say, but the man swung at the house-cast gallows. There wasn't much point. He had looked in the usual places. He knew where aristocrats hid their money. It was what he knew best. There wasn't much to be found. The house had already been run through. The Haveli was silent, still well furnished, with a Jmeri marble on the floors, the Kashmiri oak tables, Rajput weapons hung on the walls. Bereft of its occupants, though it could not have been more empty. The mundane seemed jarring, a child's clay figure, as half-eaten food who burnt out hookah, all screamed out at Pandurang. Was he really responsible for all of this? Pandurang closed his eyes. He had a job to do. Only the Barsapi was left. Nothing so far. That manhoose Tongawana is going to suck the blood from my veins, he thought. Pandurang climbed the stairs against his battered chessboard. He opened the door to the Barsapi to be hit with a blast of hot, moist, heady air. It carried the stench of rotting flesh. Pandurang's mask was not enough to keep out the scent decay. He peered in, expecting to find some unfortunate members of Janayaz's household and butcher by the tummies. Thomas Metcalfe himself was at Vay's houses around this area. There is movement in the fading light. A man, just about, his old torn clothes shimmered in the twilight. Clearly once fine silk. On his fingers, rings which flashed like gold. An absconding aristocrat. The Britishers had hunted down Jeff Safar's court, a substantial bounty on each man's head. This visit may not be a total loss after all. Pandurang's imagination tried hard to justify the trip. The man turned around. Pandurang could not have been prepared for what he saw. The skin is covered in disease, with open pores oozing blood and bile. His eyes were bloodshot, the cataracts tearly. His arthritic hands twisted and his gaping toothless mouth mumbling nonsense. The skin was drier than anything he had seen, with clots of blood and pus. The stench emanated from this creature as if every disease on God's earth found a home on this man's body. He had seen much this year, but this was the first time Pandurang felt his spine straightened with fear. The man drew nearer. Pandurang stepped back instinctively. "Do not be afraid, Bakotar. I am but a scavenger. I search for that which was taken from me." He wheezed in Farsi, each word spoken haltingly as it might be his last. The Luns was educated but with perfect diction. He spoke without an accent. From the court, for sure, but in his state, more dead than alive. What the British care for this half-man? If you're looking for Janayaz's money, I can tell you it's not here. The Tommies did their job well, brought it up Pandurang. "Do you know of these things?" asked the lad. "I might," answered Pandurang suspiciously. "Who are you?" The man sighed. "All I am now is disease and endless suffering. Have you been here since they took Janayaz away?" The man stared into space. "I have always lived in Kojang. I have lived here before Mirza's the one lands." "Zaris," He's part of Darashiko's coterie over 150 years ago. At least choose your yarns, Vakir, thought Bamilang Chucky. The mirth soon turned into a moss as the Parmrung realized he was dealing with a senile old man, unlikely to be worth much. You said something had been taken away from you. What are you looking for? Asked the ever-hopeful Panchang. The old man fixed his gaze on Bandalong. I seek that which was taken away. I was punished for writing along. I was punished for doing to the just, the righteous, what they have done to me, my dearest hearts. As I said, there is nothing of value in this place, old man, said Anwaran, in irritation, cutting him off. I make a living searching these old dumps and selling what I find. This place has nothing. Chennai's was a rich man. I suspect this place has been looted many times since they came for it. Have you seen many such havelis? Have you seen havelis in the city? Asked the old man, excitement seemingly breathing life into his dead eyes. More than I can bother to share. The British have desolated the aristocracy. The men of these families killed and the women raped or sold. The city is full of empty havelis such as these, all avid picked by those such as I. And so I spread the net so far from Delhi. Did you find it? Quickly answer me, you wretch, did you find that which belongs to me? A man tried to move towards Panduran but fell over. Panduran drew his knife and glared at the man. You are from the court, aren't you, old man? You decollete Zada, whose fur been sliced and paid for by the blood and sweat of dogs such as I don't steal anything. I take back the what stolen by you, Lindgris. Panduran had discerned his actions also in his thoughts. This defense seemed much less convincing when said aloud. He didn't know what to make of the old half-man. His speech was getting clearer and more coherent, obstinately interspersed with incomprehensible muttering. This was clearly a nobleman, fallen on bad times, probably insane. It will be evening soon, old man. I am leaving. If you had any sense, you would too. They say gins roam these parts. Although if I were you, I could be more worried about the jackals. The old man said nothing. He spoke again in words Bandalong had not heard before. It was not Farsi, Urdu, Pashto, or even the language of Panduran's father, Marathi. Where are you from, old man? Bandalong asked. I am from here. I have always been here, the old man replied. The Kuzu Chamberlain will always provide me with refuge, though your gods may despise me. Your speech becomes clearer, Lord Nan, but your words continue to have no meaning. The man smiled, gave him full sight of the stick's decay. Isn't your company, young man? I felt strong well since you came in this form, stronger than I am in years. The one-eyed Wanderer greedily, his once bloodshot eyes gleaming. I believe you consent to redeem me here. Panduran had had enough of this blabber. He had grown from a sense of the aversion to fear of the old man. He clambered down the stairs as he came out of the house. The smelling was gone, and could feel his breathing slowing down too. Why had he been so excited in there? He could see his Brongawater smiling at him, knowing Bambulan owed him a fair bit for it. Take as much time whenever you like, Bandu, he said before Banduran could offer an excuse, as long as you pay for it. As the Tonawala cracked his whip, Pandavan thought of telling his British handhelds of the strange old man in Janayas Khan's house. He's probably worthless, but the British do pay good money for those from his father's court. Who knows, he might be part of the emperor's household. Senile or not, the British would want to deal with that. As they rode on, Bomberin thought about the past few months. He had made money through his scavenging. The Tongies usually came around to take things that were worth something. But sometimes they didn't. He had made even more money feeding information to the British during the siege and after. He was the one who gave them Janayas Khan. I knew you would find anything here. You aren't the first Sate I drew off here, you know, offered the Dongovana. Why didn't you tell me this before? Mocked Von Grump. What? And give up myself? I am of a party too, you know, Pandu, he laughed. Pangaran seethed. Don't sulk, Pandu. We make a fine tea, you and man. Don't look at me like that. You should be the last person to judge a man. Pangaran was quiet all the way back to Faharket. Besides the Promovala verbs, the old man laid on his talks. He paced the Tongavala and walked through the tight bylanes of the server after each hill. Darkness engulfed the once bustling streets. The street lamps were in fastest there. Van Dylan's grandfather had been a Maratha army regular. His fought the whole Army siege of Devi Ladima fort. The siege was unsuccessful, but the city had so absorbed as survived in maneuvers as so many before it. His father had carried the Maratha flame and had found a hatred of all things muckering in. It needed easier for Vanvaram to justify his current vocation. He lit his glass lamp outside the door, a signal for those looking for it, like for Scancomin and the Delhi of 1857. Under them waited. Bradley Burns was William Hobson's spymaster. Outside the walled city, born in the city of an Indian mother and fluent in the native languages that mattered, his black hair, brown eyes, and sun-bronzed skin helped him merge into the masses. A half-breed, the British still treated him with derision and mistrust, but Hudson and Backton, and yet they backed and faith manifested. That evening he sat in Mean, my BB's establishment, enjoying one of the last refuges of the decadence of the old Mughal court. The mutiny had been crushed, a complete victory for the British. The natives could think long and hard to try anything of that sort ever again. Atrocities had been committed. The two races were farther apart than ever before. He knew things would change, and not for the better, for he likes me him. For now he just wanted to forget. Madeira and opium coursing through his blood, he lay hobbling at the march cards, choosing. A man came in the room and whispered in Plant's ear. Curse that bastard! He knows how to pick his time, screamed Torrance aloud. He would have to go himself. Van Buren's timing is often questionable. It is information, as not. In an hour there was a bat in Pondigarn's school. The spirit of the horse at Pondu, you know how much I hate wanting through your Marlow. In September, soldiers sent by the latter of Krishnale to fight alongside the British had marauded through these bylanes, massacring every man, woman, and child they saw. Even by the standards of the events of the year, the killing stood out for their humanity. The British blamed the Kashmiris of exploiting old native enmities. The fact that British informants such as Pondalam were untouched told a different story. A lot of old houses are empty, and the bodies of the dead still lay where they fell. I did not think Sahib himself would come in this late hour. Of course you didn't. Out with it, Pandu. I'm in no mood for your small talk. Slurred Burns. I'm just following orders and reporting anything suspicious. Whether this information pleases the Sahib or not is beyond my feeble faculties of telling. All right, well, I am here, and so let's hear what you have, bellowed Boggs. There is a man in Janiah's Haveli. What sort of man? He's an old and diseased, feeble man, but I suspect a man from the Entworth's court. Why do you think that? He had the air of a man of mobility. He was destitute, but spoke to me as if more than my equal. He had rings, gold, in his clothes, so rare. What is it? Sounds like a wayward Salatin. I might send a couple of men tonight to the Haveli, but I've only paying you for a Salatin Pongi. Sign by no useless Salatin when I see one. This man is different. There was something agitated about it. He thought for a minute and then he grimaced. Ever the salesman, Panderer, is this agitated old man armed? Not that I saw. I don't think he could bear his own weight. The only thing your men must be careful of is rotten stench about the man. Rotten stench? asked Burv with nascent interest. The odor around him was overwhelming. I could hardly stand there with him reeking like the depths of hell. Did this man wear rags, half black and white? Yes, he did. Did he have any bandages? No, but his skin was tarred with disease. Wish he had bandages. Pearls was in trade. His informants have consistently described an old man in ragged old clothes with bandages all over the body, providing the rebels with money, information, and strategy. A man is mysterious, meeting only with leaders of the rebels in small groups. His informants had mentioned how they knew a meeting with a man in rags was happening just from the heavy, rancid smell I'd seen to following. The British had got a hold of Samoghi's plans to repel the siege. The plans were inadequate, dreaded, even. For it was peculiar of the latter prize that they all have a singular weakness, a fatal flaw that would never cause them to fail. In fact, they relied on heavy exposure designed to cause heavy casualties for the rebels. Destroyed plans and helped the siege overrunning the city swiftly, just as the initial plans had helped the rebels fortify themselves. The rebels seems to have some blind faith in them and stuck to them in the face of heavy and swift casualties. The only name they have is Mirza Asp. Could this be Asp? Walms had to find out. He paid the usual one noho with the Pamburang, promising and more if the information lets on war. He was soon on his horse riding through the dais to Janai's calms awaiting. He was joined by 4 Tommies at the little horse Kotwani. It was pitch dark by the time they got there. What'll be after then, sir? asked one of his Rogers. An old man, probably from Zuffer's court. How many, sir? Just the one is the information to be on your guard. As they entered the Haveli, you could hear the jackals howl. Suddenly, one of the men fell from his horse. The others got down to help him. An arrow was lodged in the man's skull, and it had shattered the skull and pierced the brain. The Haveli was still another 1,000 feet away. If indeed the shooter was there, this was an amazing strike. The men took cover behind the trees and slowly started to make their way towards the Haveli, rifles now in hand. That here was a lucky shot, that what was. It's pitch black. The devil himself could have made that shot a couple of feet, forget but 300 yards. The way Johnson's brains laid about, you thought it was an Enfield, not a blasted arrow. Who uses bows and arrows, Eddie? He was cut short, as not with arrows zipped through the air and hit him square in the center of the forehead. Barnes heard the squish of the arrow bursting through his skull. 2 more zips, and the other men were down. Barnes did not bother checking on them now. He was on his course and riding away as fast as he could. He felt he was a safe distance away when a sharp, swift pain hit his left hand. Another the arrow had pierced through the palm of his hand, making and let go the reins of the horse. He pulled the arrow out and rode the horse as far as possible, away from the Havedi. He knocked on the door of Hakim Ajman of Karolbakh. He had used the Hakim before and knew him to be competent and discreet. "It's my hand," said Burns. The Hakim took one look at the hand, which was now completely left up to the elbow, which was hard and lifeless to touch. "It is a poison. It is spreading. It's all over your arm, almost your shoulder even. We have to cut it off." "What? The arrow just struck me a few minutes ago. What sort of poison is this?" screamed Burns. "I'm not exactly sure, but your arm is definitely dead. It's better to cut it off rather than risk this spreading to any of your whites." Burns was a tractable man, and shortly the Hakim, with the aid of his assistant, had cut the arm off. The old Hakim examined the dead limb. "Himu, the Hindle texts speak of a poisonous gall which attacks through cut skin and spreads like a crux across the body. I've never seen it for myself, but I think I have now." Ernst tried to get out to reporter Hudson, not soon for a battler's bed. You must rest. You have lost blood. Not sure the poison is clear. I will alert the Kotwali." "Hand me the arrow," Wong's Bart Grimoti insisted. The arrow was a heavy one made of some sort of metallic alloy. It gave off a pungent smell of rotting flesh. Burns fell unconscious. Anderon got up with the first raise of his nut. His steps echoed as he knocked up his stairs to the His eyes had been empty since the collar outfit 2 years ago. The city was at its most quiet. Apart from the washermen and their morning chants, there wasn't a sound. Even the dolls were not chirping, but that was not a surprise. The city had changed after the siege. The human population had dwindled as large masses were killed, while others sought to escape the city on its fate. Delhi's birth changed. Large broods of pigeons replaced with vultures who went deer exposed dead to feed on. Pigeon breeding had been a popular pastime. It was a common sight to see greeters on proper rooftops whistling at their pigeons, directing them to fly to target. Ghulam Ali of Bali Maran was famous. He said his pigeon's brood had over 200 birds loaded. Some retreating rebels had forcibly stayed at his house. Once the British found out, they burnt it to the ground. Ghulam Ali's wife, some 2 infant children had been burnt alive. It was in his mind he fell back to his familiar birds, whistling at the vultures in this fall, trying to make them do his bidding, as once did his pigeons. The vultures treated him with indifference, a pesky disturbance from this city of feasts. Ghulam Ali's shrill whistle broke the moment on. Pandurang was past feeling sorry for the man, and now treated the whistle as an unavoidable noise. At last, Pandurang, in saw the rising sun. Offering his straw as he stepped round the stairs, in Surum had left for his shop. "Satyaнаsh!" exclaimed Pandurang, a gold-severed head lay in front of the door. The words "traitor" were scrawled in Power's blood across the grill. "They're getting more brazen," thought Pandurang. The fact that his home and his shop had been safe while all around them earned. Yet little thought to where Pandurang's loyalties lay. He opened his shop and waited. Pandurang used to sell the books he found to a Seth in Changi Chowk. But he had realized that do away with them that he man him open the launcher. He had to report anything of significant value found at the British. Usually these items would go to the British loot treasury. as anything we British had thought other the leading of the defeated nation. But there's always a few things here and there that Bartram kept for himself, away from those greedy goals. They are to be careful with those he put on us up. Salaman Raga, said in salutation, pierced his thoughts. It was the baton, both calm. Do you have my necklace? Asked the Khan. Do you have my money? Asked Bartram, knowing that the meaning of one's name counted for nothing. Kya Maratha, how long have I been a customer of yours? This is the problem with you Garthils, who do not know how to trust. Pandurang knew the veiled threat against a non-believer would avert in the time of the Emperor. It was with a new era. Time with the white man's law did not pay to be in the spittle any more. More money, no necklace. Her aunt's face twisted in anger, but melted into a foxy smile. When did I say I would not pay? He flung a few coins at Pandurang. They were not enough. Must be tough for you, Khan Sahib. These white shaitans' vengeance knows no bounds. For the flimsiest of excuses, you could be ended up tied to the army hen one cannon. Khan's face whitened and his purse loosened at Mark. This was a new order of things. He and his ilk had been branded mutineers, their properties attached, their lives on edge. Pandurang knew the Khan lived only because, like himself, he had turned in foreigner. He knew the money he held in his hands was smeared in the blood that those who now hung at the Kurmitaratha. He took out the necklace. Dolatam snatched it from him. The necklace obviously had some history for him. These were usually the kind of clients bondwomen had these days, those who would continue to buy these sort of goods in these sort of times. He did not ask questions, he did not want to know. Dolakram looked at Parian and turned and left. The afternoon crawled by, and there were no other visitors for the day. Pandurang heard Yosum up early, and suddenly Barnes entered through the door. Pandurang, he screamed. You sent us to our deaths at Janai's Kamsville. It was a trap, wasn't it? But you have been unsuccessful, blackguard. Now I'm here for my vengeance. One stump of a hand was heavily bandaged. His skin seemed dull, a grey shadow on it, swept streaming down his face in cold morning. His eyes seemed sunk deep in their surface. He was unrecognizable for the man Pandurang had met just a few hours before. Sahib, you look well. Do sit down. Don't you dare talk to me, scum. Brandon strode his Adam's revolver. I have nothing to gain from cross-rule. My own people hate me. As you can see on my door, I would be content to take the company's grace dissonance pay. I swear to you, I just know of the old man of the Helfeli and no one else. Look at me, screamed Barnes. 4 of my best men are dead. Whoever it was waiting for us, Pandurang. It's going to mean only 2 things. Either you are a part of this, or they knew you would report back to us. Either way, it doesn't look too good for you. I'm going to get to the bottom of this, and if I find anything connecting you, I personally will ensure your gruesome end. Sahib, I've cast my lot with you. I have known no the benefactor. I swear on all that is sacred, I know nothing of the attack on you and your brother soldiers. Field Pandurang. Barnes began to cough, until the pee and blood streamed out of his mouth. 2 Tommies rushed in and helped him stand. Take me to the Arkim, yelled Barnes. This is not over, Pandurang. After Barnes had left, Pandurang realized his situation. It was time to leave swiftly. It will be evening soon, and Pandurang began to prove up shop. Because then he had his last visitor of the day. Greetings, Sate. I hope you have just a few minutes for me before you close. Pandurang looked at him and shivered. The man was covered in bandages, leaving glitter of the schematic spoils. The bandage on his forehead oozed blood. It was the stench that arrived with him that made it tear like this with the old man from the Haveli. What can I help you into now? Baradan sobered. I'm the market for St. James, said the man, feigning ignorance of their previous meeting. I have searched far and wide at all the shops in Trammichok and Bamiakraj. Nothing took my fancy, but I have not lost hope. I only found some that I might have interest in. Oh, and who told you this? Asked Arnian. Let's just say I have a sense of these things, laughed the bandaged man. His speech today seemed different. He seemed to be stronger. Gone with the mumblings from yesterday, he sounded more sharp. Was this really the miserable leper under those bandages? I am no gentleman enough. I just sell ordinary goods like his bosses and his wooden chairs. Would you be interested in any of these? Come now, my man, nothing to fear from me. I have no political leanings, no religious imperatives. All I'm here for is to buy his new gems. I have money to pay. The lang through a bag full of asherses on the table. I'm new, you have what I need. I can see that pandy on. See, no, I'm just here to take what is rightfully mine, and I'm even willing to pay for it. His voice seemed to get louder and command. Ponderin could swear the man had prawn tolo till see him take the room. The blood from his forehead seemed to stop as well. Ponderang was afraid there was something unnatural going on. He fidgeted with the safe and brought out the bag, hidden by the smally casket in the safe. He emptied the contents onto the table. Diamonds and rubies, tumblers, almost outrageous sized. The bandaged man took one look at them and sneered. There is another diamond that safe isn't fair. Anlan is now shaking with fear of the man's voice having echoed to it. He could not help but obey it. He could feel his very will being sucked out. He was powerless, as if he was in a dream, could not rethink. He picked up the other bag and emptied it onto the table. The contents of this bag was much less impressive. There were some gold and silver bowls and an old discard gem. The bandaged man sat still for some time, just staring at the gem. This is mine. He picked up the gem. He undid the bandages on his face. Underhand expected the sort of diseased face of the old man from yesterday, was surprised to see a younger man instead. His hair was dense, his eyes clear, his skin clean, flawless, except from a hollow on his forehead from where the blood had no doubt oozed. The man placed the gem in the hollow of his forehead, but it fit perfectly. Bonvilon could swear that the gem was radiating a duller white light. Soon he took all his bandages off, revealing no sign of his itriness. This was a much younger man, all muscle and sinew. The man smoked. Nothing more moved towards the door. Wait, said Bonram. Who are you? I could have sworn you were an old man I've met before. I could have sworn under your bandages was an old man weak and deserves an answers. So you could report me that to your seafaring masters? I know what you are, miserable creature. I knew the minute I saw thee. I sensed you were in possession of the lance, and it left a imprint on you, which was enough to raise me. I always knew this city how it might belong in, he said until he seemingly talking to himself, or I would have destroyed Delhi and the house of Timur 1,000 times over for a mere sight of that which belongs to him, he roared. The animal on his face was unlike anything down to him he had seen, but that is the past. And today I am behold. Suddenly, British soldiers burst into the shock. An unrecognizable burn feeding them, my skin had taken a grey, scaly tone. The amputation had clearly not been enough. The soldiers held their rifles trained at Bonrivan and his visitor. Burns squeezed as he started to speak. Mirza Ash, the arrest you against crimes against the crown and mutinous intent of accomplice rule in this country. Barrister did not flinch. Asp! Ah, yes, there is proposed Jahis by. The visitor did not flinch. Asp! Ah, yes, that is what those Jahirs called me. You see, Asp is Farsi for horse. It is a name I have used. It reminds me of another name I once had. Do you admit your actions in supporting the mutiny? I admit to supporting them and causing their annihilation. I care none for your laws and your company, Caesar. Get out of my way now. I must leave. The world of men is of no interest to me any more. Stop, yelled Barnes. One of the Tommies fired at the man as Asp forced his way out. He took the full brunt of the shot, and Barnes turned his face toward the blood and guts that he expected to fly. Asp fell down, but was quick to get back up, sword in hand. In a flash, he had hacked off a multitude of body parts at the armed men. They lay on the floor amongst the cut-down limbs. Barnes could see the exposed bone, which Asp had clean cut off. He now stood alone, terrorized the town of Venice. My arrow found its mark, I see, said Asp, looking at Barnes. You are doomed, Caesar, but I do want to thank you for leading me back to this place. For that I will spare you my sword, and let you live your days, which I assure you are no more than a few. Farewell to you, Esmeralda. You earn my gratitude as well as my disgust. I see the questions in your eyes. You are my Ladina, wretched though you may be. Let me repay you with some enlightenment. I have known for a long time that what I searched for had been found and was in this damned city. It was always beyond my grasp, locked away by greed. She, its presence, didn't have the strength to take back what was mine. So I paid, and I planned for attacks on the city. Tinojlen, Kori, Nadir Shah, even your friends, the Holy Cross, has tried many times over hundreds of years to besiege the city, take back my belongings from the loot. Then I've always failed until today, in a man's fire. Seeing the bewilderment writ large and ponderous face of the man's, I believe he would know of one of my colder names. I leave you with it. It will help you understand. Ashwathama.